Stanley Wong. Stanley Wong will be speaking to us briefly about educational factors and its prevention. Karibu, when I say karibu in Kenya, we mean welcome. Karibu, Wong.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Thank you, Ola. I text him earlier if I'm able to share a PowerPoint that I've prepared. And also, I've got a very interesting article. So I'll share that article first. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Okay, give me a moment to.
As it goes up, great. Maybe you can tell us your background.
Yes, yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm a high school teacher from Brisbane, Australia. I teach not only mainstream but special needs students as well. And but my biggest role is being a mom of 4 boys, school-age boys, age 16, 14, 10, and 9.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, so I came across this article as I subscribe to a few teachers' newsletter. And this is actually a study funded by UNESCO, so United Nations Educational, let me see, long name, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So this is the first study ever how the pandemic had affected worldwide, students worldwide. Okay, so I thought I should bring it up. Okay, go back here. All right, so it's called REDS, Responses to Educational Disruption Survey, and IEA is the one that conducted the survey. So the survey, there were, I think, 11 countries, which is here. Okay, 4 countries from Africa, 2 countries from Asia, 1 country from Arab region, 3 from Europe, and 1 from South America. So as you can see, all these, including Kenya, Faith, are representative globally. And there were these figures that were surveyed, including over 21,000 students and 15,000 teachers. So this was just released this year, beginning of this year in January. And the insights that found from and concluded from this survey, there's a few insights, but the one that I really want to highlight is to do with the well-being. Okay, so in here, it says that there's 2 I want to highlight. Insight number 4 is the well-being one. Insight number 3, principals, teachers, and students reported decrease in students' academic outcomes during the pandemic. This applies especially to the most disadvantaged and vulnerable students, because it's really applicable to me as I work with in the special education unit at the school, the most disadvantaged, the vulnerable, and the at-risk students, including most of them are boys. And so number 4, well-being. So 50% or more schools have increased priority regarding students and teachers' well-being when school closures. Okay, so that's just a bit to highlight what the pandemic had done. But even before that, I want to highlight also for, the wounded boy started way before, before pandemic, it is actually started long time ago, but not many people highlight this because, boys should be strong. Boys should, solve their own problems and things like that. Hopefully, yes. Okay. All right. And so leading from the survey, I want to also give a few more local statistics from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Give me a slide here. Okay, so this is a national statistic that is collated, and part of it is from the census that we do nationally every 4 years. So just a few points to highlight there. Back in 2007, 44% boys were found more likely than girls, which is 38%, to have long-term health condition. Among these children with the disability, 62% of boys, and only almost half of 38% girls. So you can see that there is a huge difference when it comes to children of disability. And I want to include also boys that have been wounded, traumatized, and so forth. Okay, so another sad, really sad factor is a study released in 2009, suicidal rate for boys, and this is the age group from 12 to 19, 6.9 a year compared to the girls 3.2. And this rate continued to rise even now. In December 2014, girls were substantially less likely than boys to score below. So NAPLAN is a national exam that year 3, 5, 7, and 9, okay, nationally take, and then it's found that 16% of boys score much less compared to 6% of girls, and girls also perform much better than boys in reading, and they stay longer at school, finishing and graduating high school compared to boys, and subsequently also girls outperform boys in achieving and scoring university degrees and things like that. Also, the latest one in 2019, approximately 2.5 million Australian adults, which is about 13%, have experienced abuse during their childhood, which includes 8.5% from physical abuse and 7.7% through sexual abuse. So this is just a few things that I would like to highlight what's happening in my own country. Okay, so there are many what is being displayed, and for boys, they externalize it more than girls, and this become very problematic, especially in schools when they become violent and aggressive. And also there's increase of youth crime. I noticed also from my experience, even at school environment, the teachers or staff themselves, because of how their upbringing is, there is a gender bias. I don't want to, it's just, you know, how humans are. I noticed that staff are less patient with boys, especially boys that are known to misbehave, compared to girls that talk too much. And therefore, there's more space with boys, and leading to sometimes it continues school exposure. Okay, sorry, I was just omitting someone here. Let's continue. Okay, I'm trying to not make it too long. So what can we do as a society? Well, we start from school first. That's why I believe that schools, later on you'll see what one of my colleagues quoted, and it's really true. So staff are all trained, at my school anyway, trauma-informed practices. So we are fully aware our classes are inclusive, and that means that there is no separation unless it's to the extreme of behaviors that we could not integrate both the special needs students, which include not just physical disabled, but like multiple learning disabilities, ADHD, autism, those who have been traumatized, like those, and then therefore out of home care or foster care. We also look after defense families. So I know of one student at least that when his dad leave to service for, he in the Air Force, he get really anxious and don't know if his dad is coming back. And all these, so we as staff need to be aware of each of our students. And we also have guidance officers that is giving all schools in Australia have guidance officers in at school environment. And going back to what my colleague has shared, we are the last resort to intervene before these boys ended up in jail or youth detention centers. We, some of these boys have come from quite abusive background, family background. So we are the barrier and we are the final resort because we see these students. And yeah, basically, we need to educate not just students, but like everywhere, the school community, and be aware of these students. And finally, but not less, I really want to cover, because in Australia, it's very free society. It's very new to me because I'm from a very traditional Chinese background, but I see, students holding hands, and this is from the LGBTQIA community. They are especially also vulnerable to be discriminated. Okay. All right, so I just want to highlight a good news, what we can do, an example as a school environment. We just had our Harmony Day. It's an annual event at the school on Friday. And we want to highlight that everyone belongs, not just boys, not just girls, everyone. And we don't want to make distinction because we don't want to have that gender bias and other bias, right? So say no to bullying. We included that in part of our focus, including also cyberbullying. And I'm happy to say when I have these conversations with my own students on Friday, they were so savvy, tech savvy. And first of all, I asked, how many social media do you use? And it's like, the record was like 12. And it's like, no wonder you're so busy. But they're so tech with protecting themselves, especially online with their identity. They don't use, their own name. They know not to disclose personal information. They even know what to do to report when there's, someone that someone inappropriate, pedophile or something. We call it grooming.
Wong, you have 2 minutes, please.
Okay, sorry.
2 minutes.
Yes, thank you, very, very quickly. Okay, and also we promote kindness culture. Okay, and this is what it looks like. It's a national, actually a national